I think one of the hardest things about moving to a foreign country has been feeling like an idiot so much of the time. This has not been any more true, in particular, in enrolling Juliana in school.
French école what?
I don't know how many times we said that. When we went to enroll our daughter in French school, it was really hard to figure out what the American equivalents were in the French system. We're going to define some of those terms for you today. The first one is crèche. This is for children 3 months to 3 years. It's a nursery school, and they are very highly regarded here in France.
At age 3, school becomes mandatory in France, and it begins your years of primary school, or primaire in French. First up, maternelle. Maternelle runs from ages 3 to 5. It's comparable to preschool in the United States. And in primary school, after you're done with maternelle, you move on to elementary school, or élémentaire. Élémentaire is ages 6 to 10. Very similar again to the US from kind of grades 1 through 5. Everywhere in the world, middle school years are the most confusing. In French, they've made the word confusing as well. Collège. Collège is middle school in France. Collège typically runs for 4 years, from ages 11 to 14. And another unique thing in collège is as you move forward in your grades, the numbering system moves down. So the first year of collège is 6th, and then you move to 5th and 4th and 3rd. A little different than the US. So after collège, you're moving on to high school, or in French, lycée. Lycée is 3 years. It runs from ages 15 to 18. And the unique thing about lycées in France is there's 3 types of lycées. Depending on what you or your kid is interested in and might want to do in the future, we'll determine which type of lycée might be the best choice for them.
Okay, last term that you need to know is FLE. I'm so nervous about saying this. Okay, Française Langue Étrangère. What is it, Jason? Just say it.
Étranger.
Étranger. Okay, so it stands for French language for foreigners, kind of like ESL in the US. And every school is required to provide this for non-French speaking foreign students. I guess well, by the fact that they're here, you're a resident.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, they are required to provide this, although it will vary from school to school how they do that and how established a program that they have. So when it comes to where you're going to enroll your kid, once you get to France, you got about 5 different options. We're going to talk quickly about what each of those look like. The very first one, and most widely available, is going to be French public school.
Yeah, it's available to every kid in France, no matter your visa status, your resident status. It's available for every child.
No charge.
It's mandatory starting at age 3 up to age 16.
Right. And after that is, you will see there's private schools, but they're almost like a hybrid version. They still follow pretty closely to the French national curriculum. This is often when you'll see a Catholic school also in villages, and they are super affordable. They are going to cost you usually less than 200 euros per month.
Yeah.
They will, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't.
They have a little more flexibility, the private schools. And so you'll see they may not always be religious. Sometimes they have like a little different focus on pulling in maybe some extracurricular activities that you don't see in some of the other public schools. So you can look around for those. In other words, what I want you to know about this is if you see something that's a private school, don't automatically write it off thinking it's going to be super expensive, because if it's one of the kind of public-private hybrid schools,
yeah.
It may be really affordable and a great option. These also, don't be put off by the idea of your kid going to a Catholic school if you're not Catholic. We personally know people who are not Catholic and have their children enrolled in these schools, and there isn't any pressure to,
Yeah, the religious items are often optional for each child. There's no mandatory prayer or really anything involved. So it can be a great option.
Just know that. Yeah, you don't want to write those off. The third. Oh.
There are fully private schools
Yeah.
that are not subsidized by the state. They're not influenced by the state curriculum at all. Those are an option as well. Some of these are religious schools. Some of them are just fully independent private schools that have nothing to do with any religion.
They might have an international or a language focus, but they are fully private, and their tuitions will usually reflect that. These are going to be the most expensive option.
Yeah, some of these might be focused on providing an American education or a British education or some other foreign language to target foreigners from those places who want to put their child and maintain the same learning style, the same program, the same educational structure, so that they can go back to the US or Britain or India and fall right back into the same school.
Yeah, so these are actually a pretty good option if learning the language is not necessarily your priority while your kids are here, and you want them to be able to sort of more seamlessly move into a school system here and then back into wherever you might be going back to.
Exactly.
So another note is the international sections within the public schools.
Yeah, these can be really great. You might find in middle schools and high schools, or collège and lycée here in France, that some schools offer an international section or an international program within their school. Think of these maybe like a magnet program in the US.
Within a school.
Right, so it's within a school, and it's a small grouping that you have to apply for separately and be accepted into the international kind of magnet program. So it's like a school within a school that's focused on a certain country. Maybe it's an American international school and it's American history and American language, and or it might be a British international school with the same thing. So the focus is, it's a French school, it's French curriculum, but there is a dedicated focus to some other country.
Right, and these will often offer an what am I trying to say? An IB degree, diploma?
Yes,
International Baccalaureate. Right, so those are accepted by American universities and British universities as far as I understand.
Yeah. There's not many of these, but we'll put some information down in the description.
And because they are public schools, they are tuition free, just like the public school. There's usually an entrance exam to get in based on what the focus of the school is. And these are pretty competitive because many French families also want their kids to be in these programs.
Yeah.
So just know that they're out there, they're available, and you will have to apply.
Exactly.
What's our last?
Homeschooling.
Oh, yes.
Homeschooling.
I was like, what's number 5?
Maybe very popular in the US in some places. Homeschooling here in France is not impossible.
No, but the regulatory burden is very high. So if you are thinking of homeschooling, definitely look into the requirements that you'll need to meet for the French government before you decide that is
Don't go too far down that road before you
figure out
all the details.
Right, exactly. Was there anything else?
I think that covers it.
Okay.
I hope the terms and descriptions and information were really helpful. If you have found yourself in this situation, maybe moving between the US or foreign schools and French schools, and we forgot something or we didn't expand on something enough, put some information down in the comments below. We and our viewers would love to see it.
All right. Thanks for watching. A bientôt.
A bientôt. Let's do it. Get the heck out of here.
I know.
So I saw that Margot's was open, but I don't know how long or if they're serving food at this moment.